everybody, Jeff, your executive gardener here. Hey, it's late February in Houston. You can see it's beautiful here. It's 72 degrees. Everything is going well. I'm going to give you an update. This episode, quick episodes on tomatoes. So a few episodes ago, I showed you I was growing winter tomatoes in my greenhouse, which you see right here, or my little flower house, I should say. And you saw the plant when it was yay big. Now it's this big. So it's in a fabric pot. It's doing extremely well. And as you can't see this, but I'll give you a close-up here after I do my speaking. Lots of flowers that are coming out. That fruit set will happen shortly after that. So I'm going to talk about growing tomatoes, and this isn't just about growing winter tomatoes, but growing tomatoes in general, and common mistakes that people make when they grow tomatoes, regardless of what type of tomatoes. So obviously everybody obviously knows about the N, the P, and the K, which are key ingredients to every plant. But one of the common mistakes that people make, gardeners make, when they grow tomatoes, especially in containers, not so much in soil but in containers, is a few other key ingredients which are lacking. So one is magnesium, and a lot of times the soil that's inside your container lacks magnesium, or it's gone, and your leaves start to turn a bit of a yellowish color. That can be rectified real quickly by getting some Epsom salt, not flavored Epsom salt, but regular Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate, in your grocery store or drugstore. Put it in a spray bottle and spray your leaves, and you'll see the color. Spray them 2, 3, 4 times a week. And the color will come back in the leaves once they get magnesium back. Another key ingredient for the plant is part of the NPK. It's the phosphorus. So one of the things I do, and the phosphorus is important for fruit set, because if you don't get flowers on your plants, like I'll show you here, you won't get any fruit, quite frankly. So what I like to do is I take calcium nitrate. Calcium is a key ingredient. Actually, let me back up. I take calcium nitrate to prevent something else. The bone meal I'll talk about in a second, which is the phosphorus, but let me talk about the calcium nitrate since I've confused you all. But the calcium nitrate I buy in a soluble form, so it mixes up in liquid. And if you don't have calcium, you have something called blossom end rot. So the tomatoes look great, but the bottom is brown and it's rotted. So to prevent that, again, if you're in a planter or in a fabric pot, you got to replenish that. The best thing to do is buy calcium nitrate, put the appropriate dosage into the water, and then simply spray it on your leaves 2 or 3 times a week, like such. And I think the foliar spray is the best, and you can spray it real good all over the place. And as you spray it, it will certainly soak into the plant. That's it. And then I have another one down here I'll do, but calcium nitrate in a bottle. Spray it a few times throughout the life of the plant, a few times a week, and what will simply happen is you'll help prevent blossom end rot, which is a common problem for people growing any type of tomatoes, again, especially in pots. Let me get back to the phosphorus, which I want to talk about. So what I do for phosphorus obviously, as I talked to you about, is crucial for setting flowers. No flower set, no fruit. That's the way it works in tomatoes and most plants. So what I buy here is fish bone meal. You can take a look at that. And it's a 3-15-0 formula. So a lot of phosphorus in here. And what I simply do is I mix this up. It comes in a powder form. And I mix it into the soil. And you want to really do this prior while your plant's young like this, so it does set a lot of flowers, which leads to a lot of fruit. So the fish bone meal is organic, relatively cheap. You can find it at any gardening store or online, but it's the best thing I found to use. And you have some very healthy tomatoes here. And I got to tell you, this is the first time that I've grown winter tomatoes. This is a dwarf tomato plant. I'll show you up close here. I'm incredibly pleased. In Houston, it got probably down to 20, 30 degrees at night. This $30, $40 tent kept it beautiful. This plant, I'm going to give you a close-up of both my plants, did tremendously well in the fabric pots. And again, what I'm doing to ensure maximum fruit set, because we're going to have fruit here in a little bit, because you'll see I have flowers, is use the fishbone meal. I use the calcium nitrate to prevent blossom end rot, and I use the Epsom salt, the magnesium sulfate, to prevent yellowing the leaves and making sure that the plant's able to fight off any diseases and so forth. So, key ingredients. The other thing I wanted to point out is that you have to be very careful with nitrogen. So a lot of people think they should dump nitrogen into their soil in their plant. Be a little bit careful about that. Use a good amount of nitrogen, but not too much. If you use too much nitrogen, what's going to happen is you'll get a big green bush of a tomato plant, and there won't be any flower sets. So you get a lot of leaves, but no flowers that lead to fruit. So be a little bit careful. A little bit, good amount of nitrogen is good. Too much nitrogen leaves you with plenty of green, but no flowers or fruit. So something to keep in mind. Let me give you a close-up of this plant. You can take a look at what my winter tomatoes are looking like. And before spring, I'll have tomatoes. Let me give you a close-up. So here's a close-up of my winter tomatoes. Again, I used a fabric pot there, and I'm just getting ready to water it again. But I'll take a look at my method, what I just taught you, or shared with you, I should say. Works fairly well. So you'll take a look under there. There's plenty of flowers under there. There's some on that side. And you'll see there's a bunch that are getting ready to open up here in a second. So, and there's a bunch right there that are getting ready to open. And let's see what else here we got. Oh, there's more. It's another pod that's going to open here shortly, and then some more flowers in there. So, looking really good. I covered this, and most of you probably already know, I put the soil very high up on the stem of the plant. Actually, there's some more flowers I was going to show you. I missed. And I have been, since it's growing in this tent, I have been hand pollinating. So I'm taking a simple electric toothbrush and putting it on the back of the flowers, which simulates like a bee in vibration, which self-pollinates the flowers. But anyway, you can see this plant very green, very healthy, and do all the things I talked about. It works very well, and I expect tomatoes here shortly, before most of you even probably planted. So this is just a follow-up to my series. You know, we talked about the difference between growing in a container pot, plastic pot, versus a small fabric bag here. Look at the difference. This is also a fabric bag. I think the judge and jury have decided on this. Much healthier plant in a grow bag versus a pot. This is like a super dwarf because of the pot versus the grow bag. But this one, as you'll see here in the grow bag, there's no buds on this one in the pot, which is interesting. But the one in the grow bag, this little one in the grow bag, you can see there's already flowers that are coming out here. There's one under there. There's a bunch of pods under there. So I expect fruit set in this. And again, this is just a small little fabric bag. You can see the size of my hand compared to this one. This is a much bigger bag. But this is actually, the plant's healthier and bigger in a smaller grow bag than this pot. So I'm convinced that fabric grow pots are the way to go. So anyway, hope this quick episode is helpful. Again, few tips to growing very healthy tomatoes, and hope most of you are starting your seeds. And I know if you're in zone 1, 2, or 3, you're probably still freezing cold. But I hope to have tomatoes, at least baby tomatoes, on this plant by next week or two. So hope you've enjoyed this quick episode on taking care of your container tomatoes. Have a great one.